On the day I found out I had cancer, my boyfriend proposed to me. He said he didn't love me and that he was forced into it. Later, when I died, my boyfriend broke down. On the day I discovered a tumor in my brain, Simon proposed to me. My mind were in turmoil. Fleeting doubts crossed my mind about whether he knew it all. After he saw a bit of hesitation from me, he rose from the ground, slipped the ring box back into his pocket, and cast an indifferent glance my way. "It's what my parents want. If you're not on board, it's okay." A wave of relief washed over me. He was always the one for jokes. This time he probably thought the marriage push was coming from me, using his parents as leverage. Thus, the proposal was his way of turning the tables to embarrass me. Upon hearing this, I withdrew my hand that was about to reach out and smile. "And what if I said yes? Would you still want me?" Our eyes met, his silence speaking volumes. The answer was as clear as it was painful. "If you don't marry me now, you might lose the chance forever." I fought back the tears, my voice tinged with annoyance. Simon remained unfazed, removing his jacket to drape it over the sofa's back, his lips curling into a barely there sneer. "Are you so sure that day will come?" His predictions were often eerily accurate. Indeed, that day would never arrive for me. At night, I sat blankly at the head of the bed. After closed his laptop, Simon soothed his weary eyes by rubbing it. He peeled back the covers and climbed into bed. As usual, he turned away from me, leaving just enough space between us for an extra pillow. A person's sleeping position reveals a lot. After 8 years together, he still couldn't get used to sharing a bed with me. I've always been shameless in his presence, snuggling up to him as he slept, pressing tightly against his back, wrapping my arms around his waist. Even our first time was something I boldly initiated. I was 20 then. On that day, the heavy rain pounded raindrops on the window, with the air cold and damp. I removed my jacket and slowly walked towards him and embraced him. He remained still. Beneath his white shirt, his waist was so thin, so fragile. Unlike mine, his body was warm. Trembling with embarrassment, I thought about dying if he rejected me. I looked up, forcing a smile, tears blurring my vision. I feared hearing words like shameless, cheap, or disgusting from him. Still just a girl, brave yet unable to face the consequences. He looked at me coldly, as if he might push me away any moment. My hands trembled as I fumbled with his buttons, my legs nearly giving way. "What are you doing?" he asked. I stuttered, unable to speak. He leaned down to kiss me, the taste mingling with the bitterness of tears. "You don't even know how to seduce, you silly girl." I caught a faint whiff of alcohol. His girlfriend had left him for another, and he was heartbroken. I took advantage of that. I would be like a stubborn plaster to him after that because he could not shake me off. In the darkness, I gazed at the dim outline of the ceiling's chandelier. Perhaps as death approaches, one finds peace. The people I once pursued with reckless abandon, the love that once tore at my heart, now seem insignificant compared to the life itself. The next morning, dawn's light spilled across my face. I felt blurry vision, a side effect my doctor attributed to the tumor pressing on my optic nerve, delaying my clear vision. Simon, leaning against the headboard, was absorbed in a financial magazine. On weekends like this, I would usually cling to him like an octopus, ensuring some part of me was always in contact with him, an unconscious reaction of my body. Simon glanced down. "Awake?" I offered a smile. "Good morning." He eyed my shoulder ambiguously. "You were quite still last night." I continued to smile. Suddenly he furrowed his brow. "What were you muttering about in your dream?" I touched my face. "It is wet." Had I been crying? Concerned he would delve deeper, I sat up and faced him earnestly. "I dreamed I was in Norway, seeing the snow and the auroras. I really want to go there. Can we?" My eyes were hopeful, slightly pleading. Simon dismissed me. "No time." I paused, then slowly smiled. "All right then." Perhaps my indifference prompted him to reconsider. He looked at me sideways for a moment and spoke non-committally. "Next March might work. This year is too busy." I nodded. There should still be time.